Welcome back to the program. It's now week number 62 for those that are following us consecutively. And we're going to continue finishing off that part of the form, Simmental form, that we started a couple of weeks ago, whereby we're doing Tan, Jam, Tan. Last week we talked about the Hunsao and the Chejong. That just leaves one little thing left at this particular part of the form, and that is we circle the hand as we raise the arm before we bring it back. Now I know in some families they will just bring it back from here, but if you look at that from the side view, you can see that that involves a shoulder action and the elbows kind of going outwards away from the body. In our family, what we always try to do is bring it up to shoulder level so that the action is totally about the elbow, straight line. So we're constantly practicing that elbow strike in case we get a situation where we grab from behind. So in the Wong Tze Lun family, you don't normally see people bringing the arm up this way. It should generally always look like this, from shoulder level, straight back on either side. So I don't need to say any more about that. It happens again in the next part. So we'll just continue on, because the next part, as you remember from a few weeks ago, we talked about the fact that the Wong Tze Lun system uses both the Jam Sao action and then later it uses the Gan Sao action. So that's where we're up to now. We come out with the same Tan Sao as previously, no different, but instead of sinking into the center, we pull the elbow down and send the hand forward. So if you look at that from a side view, after I've come out with the Tan Sao, I don't come backwards and I don't go sideways. I literally pull the elbow in the direction of the hip, and that sends the hand forwards. And I'm also locking the wrist, which is something that occurs not just here but elsewhere. We've already done that when we practice Wu Sao. That angle of the wrist is what gives us the resilient springiness in Wu Sao. When we play Gan Sao, we want the same structure so that this has resistance. If I was to send it across, it might miss. If I was to pull it back, it might miss. But by cutting down and angling it in that fashion, it makes it very strong. Now, essentially, why the Gan Sao? Usually, we're not going to use Gan Sao as on its own defensive technique. So if Yung attack to my body, I'm not going to stand here and just do that. If I am going to use it in that circumstance, there'll be a hitting hand at the same time, whether it's a fist or a palm or whatever. But in the form, we're also examining this idea that if your opponent has a structure that's very strong, Tan Sao has a strong structure, and a fist in that same shape is also very strong. If I try and push down with my shoulder, it's a struggle to move him. It's probably going to push me back more. But if I pull the elbow down, the lever here is much, much stronger. You can see the effect it has on him. If I'm on the other side, again, if I use my shoulder, Yung can resist it and it actually pushes me away. But if I use the elbow, it is very, very strong. But at the end of that, the angle of my hand is quite crucial. If you have a vertical shaped hand and he punches, he can still get in. If I have a horizontal shaped hand and he punches, he can still get in. But if I lock that wrist the way I described it, it has enough energy that it can send him away, inside or outside. Straight, he gets through. Sideways, he gets through. On the angle, he can't get through. So the Gan Sao action is a very, very important hand to get right. You can't slash and chop. It actually pulls from the elbow. We'll leave it there because there's more we can say about this, so we'll continue this on the next episode. See you next week.